Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for September 18th, 2018. Okay, so I was just talking about invisibility, and I'm doing a really bad job of it. Talking and exploring the Dungeons of Doom at the same time. Nice tea room with only one exit, unless there are secret exits. But the secret exits only seem to happen with puzzle rooms on the first level. Let's see. So I was talking about invisibility. The recap is that the nice thing about Brogue is that if you're going to sit here, I turn on my stealth radius, I can see my stealth radius. This is your normal stealth radius of 7. If you're illuminated, it's 14. If you're in darkness, it's half of that. So 3 or 4, probably 4. And then and the way you get invisibility is through invisibility charms or through invisibility potions, but they're all fairly limited. Actually, invisibility charms, if you want to really pump them up, you can stay invisible the whole time. I'm not sure. There might be things that can see invisible. I obviously am not the best Brogue player because I never seem to win, right? So that's sort of the overview, right? Brogue has a very good stealth mechanic, and the invisibility just uses the stealth mechanics. So when you hit something in Brogue, then in order to... What have I got? Not sure if I want to throw the broadsword. I'm going to play around a little bit before I come back. So in Brogue, I guess I was saying you just use whatever it is that you have for stealth already. And what you have for stealth is you reduce the stealth radius to 1 so nobody can see you. And then if something doesn't see you, because it's not in one of these 4 adjacent squares, and you hit it, doesn't know you're there, you get a bonus, right? You get a bonus to your damage. That's usually triple your damage, unless you've got a dagger, in which case it's quintuple your damage. So you've got a really highly enchanted dagger and an invisibility charm that you've powered up. Then you're in really, really good shape for killing lots and lots and lots of things. If you need to kill lots and lots and lots of things, that can happen in this game. So that's more or less what happens in Brogue, I think. So very, very game-like, right? It's not anything really amazing. And where I was before I got myself killed, as I was talking about invisibility in other games. So as far as I recall, for Angband, invisibility wasn't really for you. It was for some of the other creatures. Maybe there was something, but I don't remember it. It wasn't something that really made me impress itself upon me. Whereas here, invisibility is a major mechanic, right? You use it in this game all the time. If you can get it to work, you use it, because you're doing what you should be doing in a roguelike, which is trying not to interact with things if you can, because interacting with things is what gets you killed, right? So you don't want to interact with all these things. You'd rather just sort of go around if you can. Like, there's no reason to talk to that jackal, so we just don't talk to the jackal and run away. So in these other two games, which are Crawl and ADOM, they use different mechanics, right? They use a different way to deal with invisibility. So right here I'm sitting in the corner. If something just pops in and then leaves the room, it's not going to see me. That's the stealth. But in these other games, it's a little less gamey. You don't have the stealth radius to play with like you do here. Notice the stealth range went up to 14. And because of that, it's less gamey, but that you don't really know how things see you and how to get them to stop seeing you. Now, if you do have an invisibility power of some shape or form, then you can actually lose the baddies, right? Which is sort of the thing you want to do, and that's good, but you still don't have the mechanic for it, right? When you're playing the game, you shouldn't know the mechanic. You should be able to find a way to use and abuse whatever mechanic you're looking to use, right? So again, that is just not true in those other games. You have to sort of learn these mechanics by yourself and see if they actually work. Now, they have different ways of controlling invisibility in those games, right? Invisibility is a power that you can get from, a scroll or a spell or a scroll or a spell or just something interesting like that. So that's the question is how do they control its use? How do they keep you from overusing the power? And in those games, to try to keep you from overusing invisibility, they have different ways of doing it. And the big one is making invisibility make you eat more, right? I don't know why that makes sense, but that's what they do. Is sort of like, that's a pretty common one for haste, and at least for haste that makes a lot of sense, right? You're going faster, so you eat more. You've got a higher metabolism. I think we can all deal with that as a mechanic, right? So there's my invisibility. Let's see if I can kill the toad with it. Not quite. My dagger's not that awesome. And I don't want to piss off the acid mound. The broadsword is fine, but how much? So that's, again, that's a reasonable thing to do. So it just asks you to not use that invisibility power too much, because it's really powerful, right? Notice I just killed the monkey, catching it unaware, is how they say I just got that stealth bonus. So in Crawl, they have a second mechanic, right, which is sort of a magic corruption thing that gives you strange deformities and stuff like that. That's another reasonable way to try to prevent you from using something too much. And again, it's useful. On top of that, the invisibility mechanics are much more complicated. So again, the invisibility mechanic here is very, very simple, right? The invisibility mechanic here is that, you just it's just easier to kill the things with the hit, right? And they don't see you. But if they do see you, then they can hit you just as easily as before. In those other games, they do it differently. If you're invisible, then if they don't have a special see invisible power, not only can they hit you, not only can they attack you and hit you, you get like a bonus to hit and a penalty to be hit. So it's half as easy for them to hit you and maybe 25% easier for you to hit them or something like that. Now that's the sort of thing that I was talking about that's easily turnable. They can easily turn into a more robust game mechanic, right? If you so desire. If that is the sort of thing that you're busy thinking about. So, how was I talking about it in that first post, in that first attempt to do something with them? I don't have any armor to speak of. Oh, that was a mistake. Keep forgetting I didn't identify that Warhammer. So I'm going to equip that Warhammer. Shattering Scroll. So I was thinking, how would I want to implement invisibility, just like that. So a way you might want to do that, right, I was thinking, is you might want to pull apart those two aspects, right? You have two aspects to the invisibility effect, right? So we still don't have any armor, so I can't show that to you. Identify as something, some wild potion, it's descent, okay? So a troop of monkeys wandering through the dungeons of doom. So how could we play with I've got to find that stupid monkey now. Monkey stole my broadsword, that's fine. The second monkey stole the food, so I don't have to... I can see the monkey that I have to get. Okay, good. I don't need that broadsword because I put all the enchantments into the Warhammer, which I've wielded. Okay, so here you've got two aspects to invisibility, right? You have one, can't see you, the detection radius, and then the other one is they can't hear you. So, I mean, think about this. Where is... Oh, there's a ring. I gotta do something with them. So, with those two aspects for invisibility, we can play around a little bit, I expect. What is in here? Chasm. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily do anything. Where was my get out here? Must be right here. I don't see any other good place for getting out of here. So I have to worry about this, which means I have to open myself up over there somehow. Okay, so that's a ring of transference, which means this other one's a ring of transference. Oh, that was bad. That was a curse ring of transference. Let's see what my other scrolls are. Protect weapon, that's good. Protect armor, that's bad. And a goblin, a stone goblin in the goblin hole. So we don't have any reason to stick with wonderful. The other armor, except now that it's unpoisoned, but we don't have the really good reasons, right? Really good reasons were things like great. And I have to kill myself again. Yeah, I didn't notice it. It saw me there. Alright. So, you can break up those two issues and leave the clanking of the plate mail around. And unless you have a mute spell. So you can use that mute spell on yourself, which also means you'd want to be able to use it on yourself, on another thing. And that would allow you to get rid of the plate mail problem, as well as the visibility problem, and stuff like that, if that's the way you wanted to do it. That sounds like a reasonable way to me. In which case you can sort of restrict the invisibility by making it impossible for you, when you've got the full invisibility on, to use other scrolls, right? And which would be a wonderful way to do it. So that seems to me to be a reasonably good way to restrict that invisibility. So again, comments on invisibility, you can throw them down below. That'll be fun, and you can tell me how I'm wrong about how to do that, or tell me why that wouldn't make a good game mechanic, or however you want to talk about it. Bye now.